All right, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for joining me. I think this is part 4 or maybe part 5 on our little Dragon Models Sherman tank. It's a 105 Howitzer, and it's actually a restoration of a display or a completed Sherman tank that was completed by the Dragon guys and presented for their box artwork and photographs and advertisement and all that stuff. But I received a lot of kind comments and encouragement from a lot of people on this little project here, and I just want to say you guys are way, way, way too kind. Thank you very much, and just picks me up and makes me want to restore her to just right look, just slightly above how she came, or how she spent all those years wrapped in bubble wrap, shoved in a box in the basement down at Dragon Models Inc. And when they took her out of the box, she was all busted and broken up. But, real quick, thank you for all the kind words, but I do want to say something. Uh, we all make mistakes, including myself. And there you go. Uh, I messed up on the rear deck there. I mounted some of the tools on there and some of the glue marred the paint surface or the primer surface. And because it's such a visible, exposed, flat, open area, it really stuck out like a sore thumb. So I tried to sand it and primer it and just messed it up, made it worse. So I popped the tools off and I went ahead and did some wet sanding. And it's a technique I've always heard about, never used until very recently, maybe the last handful of months. And I got the tutorials from right here on YouTube with you guys. Thank you very much for that. I learned something new that has helped me. Not that I'm going to enter anything into some hot rod, muscle car, ultimate paint finish contest, but rather what it does is enables you to return to having that just smooth, highly visible surface. What you want to do with it from afterwards, that's up to you. But I felt, because I am putting photo etch on the tools, that I did have to clean that up. Oh, there's more. So that actually came out fantastic, and it was a tip. It was a video covered by one of the members of my little YouTube community where we build 125th scale big rigs, and that was something I learned. I went ahead and got on some more YouTube channels. So yeah, we do make mistakes. So I popped the tools off. I sanded everything down. I used a wet sanding method. It came out perfect. I retouched it right here where you see with a Tamiya light primer. Doesn't hide the details as much. Goes on smoothly, self-leveling, fast drying, and I like it because you can sand or wet sand with it. And she came out great. Don't forget to mask off all the areas and all the tools and photo etch you've already installed, and be very, very careful on peeling that tape. But before you even apply the tape, make sure you apply to strategic locations on the model only, so you don't pull up any photo etch detail with it. So let's check out the finished product here, and actually let's kind of goof around here. How did she come out? She came out like $1,000,000. So I'm real happy. I literally just did this work within the last 40 minutes and was filming the whole process. We're here at the workbench. We're going to go ahead and see how she came out. But that's the rear deck. That's where all the damage. So thank you for all the compliments, everyone. It just pumps me up. But we all make mistakes. And I'm not going to kid you. if you want to repair those mistakes you made, which sometimes feel like when you mar the surface that you messed up the whole project, which is probably more in our heads than anything else. The same way I explained, I have to slow myself down to a snail's pace throughout every aspect of this build in order for it to come up with good results. By speed, they look like garbage when I'm done. Same thing applies to the repair. You're going to have to think, plan ahead your moves, look for strategic locations where you can handle the model without marring something or breaking something off. You're going to apply your masking tape. Make sure you pick strategic locations. In this instance, what we did here, and I don't have to really explain it to a lot of experienced modelers who have done this probably a million times and probably in their sleep and can do it a lot better than me. But I chose to mask off the whole rear half of the hull, except for that top panel there, because that's full of tools and photo etch. This only had the range pulls on there, no photo etch. I popped off the original tools. They're right there sitting on the side, as you can see. There's all the little photo etch. So what I'm going to say is the same exact snail's pace as which you assemble the model, or me assemble the model. I have to do the actual repair even slower and more methodical and more carefully. So I almost felt like a watchmaker there. It's something I did not know I had inside me. So I do want to thank all you guys for your kind words and encouragement and comments. It's almost like I'm trying to show off for you guys, or show her off for you guys. Let's go ahead and not take too much of everybody's time. So why don't we go ahead and peel off the photo etch section first. I'm going to be very gentle, and I fully expect for some photo etch to pop off, but that's fine. Maybe even a tool or two. Are we still on camera? Are you sure? Didn't lose not a one back here in this section. Same thing, be very careful. Kind of peeling back upon itself at a 45-degree angle. I see a speck there, but that's not photo etch. That's like dry primer or sanding residue from the styrene. Came out great. Came out better than I expected. When it happened last night, no, 2 nights ago, I thought I had ruined it. Kicked myself in the head saying you know better. Plan out your repair. I chose the half-ass method. Came out with half-ass results. Tonight, coming back from work, literally, I ate something, came here, slowed myself down to a snail's pace, did the repair, the sanding, wet sanding, and blew all the water off, blew all the dust off, hit it with primer, very light coats, and she absolutely came out fantastic. This is the area that I had messed up. So let's go ahead and apply our tools since we have you guys on camera. I guess I want to say is I wouldn't have it any other way. So that goes pre-positioned in that little peg that Dragon supplied or provided for us there. Most of these tools, for whatever reason, on the Sherman tank, where it's perfectly logical, where you think you'd put it nice and horizontal, even with this seam here, They don't. They're all cockeyed at an angle for some reason. This one being cockeyed slightly up. Excuse me while I close my computer. That one kind of cockeyed slightly up like that. So let's go ahead and put that guy in place. Incidentally, I do have Tamiya masking tape, all sorts of types and sizes and stuff. I just wanted to do this real quick tonight to see if it worked. Uh, now that I know that it does work, and I've used the technique myself, I will be using better tapes in the future whenever I come across a situation like this. I definitely don't want to mess up either my armor models or my big rig models. They're very important to me, and they mean a lot to me because on the big rig side, where I build big 125th scale big rigs, it's a whole family thing. It's a whole community thing, and it's like my fellow colleagues, my fellow modelers were building and suggestions and advice, and when I'm done, those are more our builds than my build. It just happens to be here in my shop, right? But I don't want to cheat and take shortcuts and just fudge something when it belongs to all of us. And I'm trying to send a message to others who are watching for the first time. Um, you guys that do this all the time on YouTube, and I'm a huge fan of, believe it or not, I'm a huge fan of all you guys. I've been watching all you guys for years now. I never thought I was going to be getting back into model making again. I'm so glad I did go back because my years of experience and my age have um, literally made me a better modeler today than I ever was in my entire life. All right. Okay, we got it in there. And I have no reason why that is. Why all the tools, when they can be perfectly aligned with more straight right angles, everything's cockeyed at an angle. There we go. Now, I already had these tools on when I made that mistake, and it was actually the next one coming up, I believe, is a sledgehammer. And it was all glued up and ready to go, and I was ready to drop it into place right here. And once again, at an angle, for some reason. Let's see, so we'll go slightly forward. You can't see it on the camera, but I have the Sherman tank diagrams here and all the tool layouts right next to me. So I keep turning my head and looking at that reference material, even though it looks like I'm down here working, I'm actually not. But let me back up on the camera here a little bit. I mean, this stuff is just indispensable. Instructions, drawings, plans, photographs, whatever you can use to help you model in terms of detail. The particular, and this applies to all modeling, any type of modeling, whatever you're building, trains, doll houses, figures, um, Napoleonic artillery, it doesn't matter. You definitely want that reference material, and you definitely don't want to rely on just guesswork saying, I think this belongs here and I think this should be more of a straight angle, because all the drawings and photos show everything kind of at an angle. Okay, we're going to put a little dab of some CA glue, and then we'll put it right where it's supposed to be. Once we get these on there nice and secure, what I'll do is I'll bring it up to the camera lens just to show you what I was trying to do with the photo etch. And I'm glad I did, because the results to me are exactly what I was hoping for. Now this is where I got in trouble last time, so forgive me if I'm at a weird angle. Beautiful. Beautiful. So we pulled it off. And where I had glue marks, sorry about that, where I had smudge CA glue marks was here, here, and a big one here. I'm not gonna kid you. The wet sanding, the primering, and drying it, I use a hair dryer and I use some compressed air from my compressor to, after I was done wet sanding, to dry everything out. And then I hit it with the primer. And the shooting of the camera, the video right now, and this, it's all been within an hour. But you know what? We're not gonna bring the camera up, the tank up to you guys. We will zoom in on it. Let me set up the lights for all of us. And all right. And the deck will just drop in. We'll wait for all the glue and primer to dry. Remember, this is a technique that I had never tried before. Wet sanding for repair purposes for myself. It's the second time in my life I've ever done wet sanding. The first time was when I was watching the YouTube tutorials, and I'm going to send thank you to Dave Parsley from Dave Parsley's Scale Emergency Vehicles YouTube channel, because he did a video on wet sanding, and that's where I was hooked. Another thing I want to show you guys, since I have the camera and I have you guys here, is the turret is done. Now, I personally was having problems with these visor guards. The Dragon ones, even though they were brand new and I got them off the sprue, I guess they had been in the sprue so long they got mushed up. So at first they did not look damaged, and I installed them on the turret. However, as the days went by, I noticed either one portion of the steel rod here on the back. So these are full edge. Nope. On the back or the front or both. Either one was popped up, bending upwards, or one was bowed going downwards. And the more I straightened it, I noticed that each one was they weren't identical. All three weren't identical. They all were bent differently, or you could tell right away that all three were not identical. I happen to have another sprue here. This is off of a later Sherman tank. I think this is This is Academy. Yeah, this is Academy. I have another sprue here. This is from Academy, and they did have visor guards here, which were pristine, solidly straight, and although they were painted in olive green or this olive drab green or similar type molded styrene color, I painted them gray and I put them on here, and I just love the way they came out. No issues whatsoever. I went ahead and did install, if you guys can see, or maybe not. I'll try and hold this stick. Well, keep it on the ground better. Let me see if I can get in there real tight. I did install the hatch latch and the other second part of the latch that comes up. Both, it's got a hole, so you can actually put a padlock in there. There are photo etch padlocks in that set. I may or may not do it. I'm not sure. So I showed this last time. This is the aiming vein. This is also another type of aiming vein that raises up, comes down. It also has a little bit of photo etch on there. So I didn't get too crazy with the photo etch, and that was not the purpose. I just kind of wanted to doll her up a little bit. I noticed a lot of my windows are kind of chewed up, my little visors. I may pop those out and put brand new ones in there. I may leave them like that. I'm not sure. But you can see, I'm super happy with the texture. Super happy with the metal gun barrel. It elevates and depresses. That'll never come apart. Just the texture we applied on the side and all over. It's just, I can't. I'm ecstatic with satisfaction that I was able to pull it off. Not even thinking I was even going to come close to pulling it off like this. But I want to thank you guys for the kind words and the encouragement mostly. I'm sure a lot of you guys are military modeler guys or armor guys and don't know me from a hole in the wall or my videos, but if you, as you watch more down the road, if that were to be the case, you'll see that when I thank people, I'm very, very sincere, but especially when I thank them from the bottom of my heart, because the thanks is genuine and it's coming from one of your modeling colleagues. Just so there we go. Weekend ended horribly wrong, I thought, with that mess up. But Monday evening, after a day of work, look at that. She's back again. We're done with the photo etch. Believe it or not, I'm going to look for a steel cable. I don't think I'm going to look for a copper or a silver one. I believe I've got some blackened ones off of eBay. And if I have a blackened one upstairs in the storage, which I'm positive I do, and it has the tow hook parts, then I'll put that on the Sherman here. And it comes with two more photo etch parts, maybe three, and that's where they lock in here. They ride here, and they lock in on the end, I think. We're not going to install that photo etch right now because the tow hook of that cable actually goes through the photo etch, and I would have to pop it off, undo it, hopefully without damaging it, put it through the tow hook and glue it back on. Hopefully do it all in 3 spaces without making any mistakes. And I think we know the answer to that one. So we'll hold off on that. That'll be the final photo etch there. Got your grill. We'll glue that on tonight as soon as all the primer is fully cured. The tracks will go on. Last piece I'm going to cover real quick, super quick, is the photo etch. I have photo etch here. I don't know where I put it. Okay, excuse me while I lean over the camera. So there's your dragon photo etch for the track guards or mud guards, whatever you call them. So before we bend these, what we're gonna do, we'll flip them upside down. We'll line everything up perfectly. We'll either tape them down or secure them with some sort of jig or clamp. I haven't figured out that. We'll put all the joints together. We'll butt them up right up against each other. We're going to use, I'll demonstrate this with a small piece, but we're actually going to use a long piece of brass. Very thin brass, but still very sturdy. The shorter you get it, the more sturdier it gets. We're going to solder this piece onto the back of that track guard, so when you flip it, it's going to have its bends in it already. So I'm standing off to the camera, and then when I got to do this with my hands, I lean over and look through the viewfinder. That's why you see me like waving off the camera, floating away. That's what's going on. So they'll be, and I'm doing it right now, by the way, they'll be solidly put together. They won't have the issue of bending by just staring at them with that brass underneath. And you're not going to see that brass underneath because you already bent your photo etch. It bends up here where it attaches against the tank. It comes across and it bends downwards again. So that downward lip here, that flat part faces the viewer, is going to cover our piece. You'll never know it's there unless you flip the tank upside down and look very carefully. But that's going to be a solid, it's going to add a little bit of weight to the tank, and you won't even see it. So I am very proud of that idea. I'm sure many of you guys have done it already, but I love working with metal. Pretty much that's my thing. I build all the models I'm building now, whether it's armor or big rigs, have a lot of metal real metal in them. And this is right up my alley. I'm just real happy about working on this, coming up with a plan, devising ideas, methods, and then executing it and filming it here for you guys. So it may be a few more days before I film that portion to this. And when we pull it off, there'll be a finale, and then we'll move on to the next project. But I wanted to tell you guys thank you very much for all the kind words, all the encouragement, all the fantastic modeling you guys do, where I'm picking up ideas and even ideas how to handle myself behind the camera here as I narrate what I'm doing comes from you guys. So thank you very much. You guys have an awesome week, and we will talk to you here, I guess, in a few days. You guys take care.